Hey you guys, what's up? I got a few more videos before I hit the town with Chad and we have mimosas and all that kind of stuff, but I wanted to come in here and I wanted to make sure that we understand how vital storytelling is, okay? And it's funny, I mean, after the invite training, I'm going to be releasing a storytelling training that we will go through together. As long as you're teachable, as long as you're hungry, as long as you're just putting one foot in front of the other, I will share in little chunks along the way that will set you up for success, okay? But listen, I need you to lean in with me on this topic of storytelling. Facts tell and stories tell, period, end of story. Stories are how we are wired to connect through storytelling, period, end of story. Danny Johnson has taught us that. Chalene Johnson shared it on the National Wake Up Call. Scott Mann leaned in with us as a team and shared that kind of stuff. I can't stress it enough, and it's why we are going to be talking about it so much and actually do a whole training, a whole seven-day training on it. It'll also be weaved into the invite training just a little bit, but I have got to get you guys to understand how vital your story and other people's stories are to connect to that limbic part of the brain where people make decisions. That part of the brain that also deals with feeling and emotion, and we connect through stories. It has been that way forever. It is that way in tribal areas. You've heard Scott talk on that. He talked when he was dropped into the most dangerous places on earth. He connected with storytelling. They sat around campfires. Places still do that. We used to do it. Our ancestors used to do that. At the end of the day, they didn't plop in front of a television or get out their iPad or start playing around on Facebook. They connected with those people that are closest to them to share stories, how-tos, to help each other improve. That is how we are wired to connect. And right now in this country, I feel it is what we are hungry for. I feel connection is what is missing. And I shared at Summit, Brittany Leggett and I did, and with the help of Chalene Johnson, who we've learned from, that those that learn how to tell their story and others are going to be the ones that do the best in the coming ages. When it comes financially, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to marriages, it comes down to that. It is everything. Is storytelling. And so it was funny, I was talking to an amazing girl on our team that went to Danny this weekend, and she came back, her name's Jacqueline, just came back fired up. Just fired up. I mean, the change in her, has been insane. She's been on a roll with personal development, reading Daring Greatly, and finishing up Hammer and Chisel. She's been consistent, but going there and leaning in with Danny and hearing and doing some of the training that she's doing right now with many of the programs that I've already trained with over the last 5 years. She was like, hey, she sent me a message. She's like, we need more stories in Team Courage. I was like, I know. I tried to put a folder together. Do you guys remember that? You remember when I brought this up and I put a folder together because we were always coming in and saying like, hey, has anybody have any stories after babies? Hey, anybody have any stories with diabetes? Hey, anybody have any stories with autoimmune diseases? Hey, anybody have? We have all those questions all the time, right? Because your mindset is exactly where it should be, where you want to tell a story, but we don't know where to find the stories, right? And so I put that folder together. Guess how many stories are in there? One. Mine. That's it. Nobody filled it. Nobody took the time to put their pictures in there, to tell the stories like I had asked you guys to do, to make a 2-minute video, to put it in there so people could hear your story or even send your video off to someone that was struggling. This right here, when you step into this is how your scars get used. When you step outside of your comfort zone and make a video, a 2 to 5 minute, 5-minute max video, it's when you get better at storytelling. And it also benefits somebody else. Now we're going to work on this in the art of storytelling when we start that group in like a week and a half. So we got invite training next week and then storytelling training the week after that. So we're going to go deep into this, you guys. But if you have a story right now, okay, and you guys do, I'm going to post the folder in this thread. Okay? And I want you guys to take the time to put it in there. You know what, heck, why don't we do this? What if this weekend we all did a 2 to 5 minute story where we shared our story. Some of you guys are like, I don't know how to. We have a sheet on it. And I'll post that below, how to share your 30-second story. And of course, you can expand on that to make it, 3 times as long. It comes down to folding a piece of paper in half, putting before challenge groups, before coaching. And I would make a video for each one, before challenge groups. What if you did that? Can you imagine the tool that you would have for yourself when people are like, well, I don't know. And you could say, you know what, I get it. I was hesitant like that too. I don't know. All I know is it did so much for me. And I want to share that part of my heart with you. Would you be willing to watch this 2-minute video that I made and see if it can serve you in any way? And they listen to it, and you lean in, and you look that camera in the eye, and that person can look into your soul, into your heart, and they can feel your pain and your hurt like it's their own, and they locate themselves in your story, and as you share what has changed, they start to see hope. Your business would change. I'm telling you what, not just because you would have that tool to send out, but you would get better and more comfortable at actually sharing your story. And if you don't get better and more comfortable at sharing your story, nothing's going to succeed. It's how you have to train your kids. Did you know that? If you want to get your kids to do something, it's about leaning in with them and sharing, where have you been? It's not acting like you've never drank underage or that you never did anything that you weren't supposed to do. It's about leaning in and saying, hey buddy, I get it. I felt that way when I was in high school and my parents, tell a story. What I found out was, share the story, they can lean in and now you just humanized yourself to your kids, to where, what did they ask themselves? Does she love me? Can I trust her? Can she help me? Our kids ask us the same questions as they grow up as to whether they're going to follow us to where we're going, what's coming out of our mouth and where our feet are going. The same question. So this will sow into all areas. You learn how to story tell. You learn how to lean in with people on this level, and you'll be so successful you won't even be able to wrap your brain around it. You won't even wrap your brain around it. And so, you guys, I'm going to post that folder beneath. If you have a picture, a before and after picture, I want you to include it in the document. So in the document, you can edit. I want you to type your story up. It should take you maybe 10 minutes. Type it up. Tell us, what was life like before this challenge group? Your first challenge group. What was it like before challenge groups? I was a prisoner to the scale. I cried when I was in the, every time I get dressed for a date night with Chad. I didn't want to have sex with the lights on. I did chubby checks all day, and I found myself relying on food to deal with stress. At the end of the day, I went straight for the refrigerator, and I felt like such a failure over and over and over again. Since joining a challenge group, since getting surrounded by people that are positive, a safe place to fall, a place where I can trip and they inspire me to stand back up. Since challenge groups, I have redefined myself as a mom, as a friend, as a wife. For the first time in my life, I feel worthy. For the first time in my life, I feel strong. I feel confident. And it has ripple affected into every area of my life. My husband and I have healed our marriage. I can't wait for him to touch me. Do you see where I'm going with this? Write that underneath, whatever your story is. Make a video like that and take it, upload it to your YouTube channel or load it into that file. And let's become professional story makers. And this was all sparked by Jacqueline. I was going to wait for about 10 days until we got into this storytelling, the art of storytelling training, but we can start now. We're going to hone in on it in 10 days and really start working through it. We're going to hone in a little bit and invite training, but why wait? Why not create a tool? What are we waiting for? Your life has been changed. Stop holding someone else's future captive in your mouth. It is time, people. It is time to share our stories. There are people out there that need to hear your stories so they can see hope through your story, so they can connect and locate themselves in you. And that's when your scars and your wounds start to be used for good. That's when everything changes. So that's what I want you guys to do. I want to see can we fill up this folder? I made it a couple months ago, right? It's in Coach Essentials. Don't say you don't know where it's at, because it is labeled Our Stories right in Coach Essentials. So every day when you need a story, you can click on it and read some. Right? Maybe we'll label them that says my story with diabetes, my story with breastfeeding, my story as a military wife, my story with whatever, my story with bulimia, my story with self-harm, my story. See what I'm saying? And we can locate these and we can share them with people. And we don't need to be nervous about messaging back and forth or what we say. It's very simple. I don't know. All I know is your story, what you've been telling me. This is why we have to get into the questions. You have to know. You have to open up. And why do people stop talking to us? They're not ready. So it doesn't mean you shove the price down their throat. It doesn't mean that that's what we do and that's how we pull them in. When they stop responding, when you ask some of those hard questions, it means they're not in the stage of change yet. Now we love bomb. Now we love bomb. Guys, get me? Now we follow them on Facebook. We be the light for them. That's something I tell my kids every day when they get out of the, 2 things every day without fail. I don't care if I sound like a broken record. When they get out of the car, I said, you go be the light and love no matter what. Go be the light, love no matter what. Go be the light, love no matter what. What does that mean to them? Go be the light. Be positive. Be energetic. Love no matter what. Love when you're getting bullied. Love when they're not paying attention to you. Love when you're being excluded. Love when you don't get the grade you want. Love anyway. What does it mean for us? Love when they're not responding to you. Love when they're not liking your pictures. Love when they're ignoring you. Love when they tell you no. Love them anyway. Those 2 things will make you successful in life, right? And so when you have stories like that, you do not need to memorize everything. All it is I don't know. All I know is what you told me reminds me of my friend Liz, who was struggling when she was stationed in Hawaii and her husband was never home and she had 2 little people depending on her, and she went to go play soccer with her son and she ran out of breath and she sat down and cried. I can feel your heart. Liz Taffel is down 60 pounds and she's kept it off for 2.5 years. She is more energetic than I've ever seen her. She's chasing and keeping up with her kids and going on field trips. Why not you? Take my hand. Give me a chance. Give me 30 days to show you that it can be different for you. Do you see what I'm saying? That's all I say to people. But we have to get them talking so we know what story to put in front of them to give them hope, and then ask them to give you a chance to show you it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't. And they might still say no. Love them anyway. They might still say they hate Shakeology. Love them anyway. They might tell you that everything you're doing is crap and all about you. Love them anyway. That's when that comes in. And guess what? Your love will prevail. It always does. Love always prevails. If you're willing to still be here for it to prevail. 3, 4, 5 years down the road, you're still running this thing. You're still loving. You're still positive. They'll come back. I've seen it happen way too many times, but you got to love them anyway, and you still got to be here for love to prevail, and you still got to be learning how to share your story, and you still have to be sharing your scars and other people's scars to make the connection so they can locate themselves in your story and their story to give them hope, because that is where hope comes from, and that is the only place that hope comes from. So it's time to build our stories. It's time to stop dicking around with it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's time to lean in. It's time for you to share your story. It's time for you to get uncomfortable. I don't care if it's not how you want it to be. I'm going to teach you in 10 days how to do it, but you might as well take a stab now. Listen to my story. I've done it. You just heard me tell my story. Take it. I'll tell you what I did. I'll tell you what I've heard Janelle Summers does. When you find something, you take it and you re-listen to it. Write down verbatim what I said. Keep stopping it, going back, stopping it. Write down verbatim what I said. Look at it and try to weave your story into it. Try to see a connection and write yours down and then record it and then record it and then record it. And some of you guys are like, I don't want to keep recording it. So you all should have a Facebook group where it's just you and one other person. You and your spouse. You and your mom, somebody, just because the group can only open if there's 2 people in it. This is where go live over and over and over again. Go live over and over and over again. No one's watching. Your husband's not going to get in there and listen as soon as you come on live. Your mom's not going to get in there right away. Practice over and over. And when you get it where you want it, you're like, okay, I want to include that one. Google, how do I download my Facebook Live video? It'll tell you how to do it. Download it. Download it onto your computer. Upload it into that file. And now we have your story. You can upload it onto your YouTube account if you have one, but if you don't, you can take that file that's loaded on your computer and drag it right into the folder. That folder can be edited by anyone that has the link. So that's my challenge for you. Step into this. Okay? The art of storytelling is no joke, but it's time to start practicing. It's time to build we have so many stories on this team, and it's time to start telling them. It's time for those scars to become someone else's hope. You guys, I hope that helps. I'll talk to y'all later. See ya.